How you doing? Things here with the Made in Mexico Strat are finally really moving in the right direction. Last night while I was watching the Beatles documentary, I was doing some soldering, and I got into the final stages, and I have the pickguard attached back to the body. So what I have right now is my nice shielded control cavity. I have my ground wire, my output wires all put on there. But meanwhile, the guitar's strung up. This happens to me when I'm working on different things. I have an electronics project going on, I'm putting a new nut on or doing other things there. So I wanted to just share a quick idea I have about how I can lift the pickguard on and off relatively easily with the instrument strung. Well, how to unstring it without ruining a set of strings that are only a week old and barely played. So I already started. What I do is I wrap masking tape around the strings and then around the neck. And that way when I loosen all the strings, they're going to loosen. They're not going to tangle though. They're not going to come back off out and around the tuning machines. I'm going to do this one more time right down here in the middle of the neck. Because what will happen then is I can loosen all the strings down pretty nicely. I can unbolt the neck, lift it out gently. It's going to be really, really sloppy in the strings. Lift it out gently. I can lay the neck aside, drop the pickguard in. Again, it's all wired and ready to go. In an upcoming video, I'll post up what my whole wiring scheme is there. But I'm anxious to get this thing back together so I can play it a little bit. I'm not sure I'm playing it tonight, but I want to drop this in and bring some closure to this. So, anyway, I don't know, maybe this isn't news to anybody. Maybe you do this already. Like I said, I get a lot of projects like this where it's in various states of repair. So I take the masking tape, and you can stick a ruler under sometimes too and stick the tape to the ruler and slide it through. But all you need is one layer underneath the strings. So that's under the strings. What I'll do is I'll take that right there, wrap it back across, and that's going to lock all the strings in position. Then I wrap it one time around the neck, and that's going to keep the strings from ending up getting tied in knots or getting kinked or whatever. Just that simple. And I did that because the one other time I did this, I threw away a pretty good set of strings and it really bummed me out. And I thought, what could I have done to save those strings? Well, this way I can unbolt everything, lift the pickguard out, put it back in, whatever, and then just drop that neck right back on there. And it'll work pretty nicely. I'll just loosen it down real nice. Alright, so it's a little bit of a mess here on the camera, but I can drop the pickguard right on there. The strings are all attached, and all I'll do then is just take the neck back over and put it right on. But that keeps it all real nice. It doesn't even come undone up on the headstock. So one wrap around the strings and then one wrap, keep it going right around the whole neck. And then it's going to be ready to just drop right back on there real nice. A couple of details. You know, if you're doing custom work, take a minute and sign your work. I signed it on the inside there in Sharpie. Also, the shielding. I left little tabs of the copper shielding hanging out. One of those tabs is right where a screw's going to go through, and it's going to duck into that tab and make continuity from the shielding here to the shielding here, and that should make everything work pretty nicely the way it's supposed to. I thought about putting one more ground wire directly to the copper shielding, but I'm not stressing about that right now. I'm just going to get this thing together and play it soon. So anyway, that drops right on. Just like that. Right back into position. And then the neck, make sure it's not, you know, twisted or anything. It's all lining right up. And then all I'll do is just put that on Slides right in place. It's the first time this guitar has been together in about a month. So I'm going to slap the screws back in here, tune up the pitch, and then there's one other quick thing I want to do before I'm working on the finishing touches. So I'll cut to that in a second also. Alright, so as things go back together, these screws don't have to be super tight. I mean, you want them tight. But if you have a nice heavy screwdriver, my advice is don't crank down too hard. What I'm going to do is get each of these pretty nice and snug. You know, give it a little, I think, you know, how tight could my son crank it if he was really on this? That's about how tight I want it. Not super tight yet. I will go a little tighter for the very, very final. But I do that. It's not going anywhere. What I'll do next is I'll tune it back up to pitch. So I'm going to rip the tape off, tune it up to pitch, and then I never believed this until I tried it myself. I'm going to tune it to pitch and then loosen each of these screws about a quarter turn, and that's going to let this neck then set. It's just going to creak a little bit usually, and it sets right in nice and tight, that neck heel joint right there. The string tension is going to pull it in. So I'm going to take the tape off, tune the guitar as it is, everything's snug, and then loosen those screws and then re-torque them a little bit. And there's a certain way I do it. I'll cut to that in 1 second after it's tuned here. So now this is the last thing after the neck has been off the guitar. You want it strung to pitch. Flip over the back. I loosen the 2 screws further towards the body first. It's about a quarter turn. Now I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but when I loosen the last 2, what I'll feel or hear, there's like a little creak, and it'll set in that little bit there. It pulls it past the friction, and it's going to set the neck right in tight against the inside of the body. Let's see, I'm going to do this one first. I just heard a little creak in there. I felt it move too. Then a little bit more. What I'll even do sometimes then is I'll set the guitar on the floor. Just this a couple times. Just like that. Then come back here. Snug. Snug. Give that one a pretty good turn. That one a pretty good turn. And then one more time around, just make sure they're all good. That's about it. You should also give it one of these. You look down the neck real careful and make sure. Yeah. It's looking pretty good. So now I'm ready to put in some screws here. Plug this thing in soon. See what that sounds like. And that's that. I guess that's about it for tonight. I'll be doing a little bit of other odds and ends here and a little bit of nut shaping, and then before long I'll be getting some new sound samples. What does this thing sound like? How does it play? And all that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Just want to do a little video about getting that whole thing buttoned back up there. Probably post something else up. Probably get another video tomorrow right away. That's it. Have a good night.